For the first time in 7 years, my wife and I were due research leave in the same semester. I'd booked a trip to Berlin, but Anna had other plans. In January, we'd drive north and stay in a cottage. "Sounds perfect," I said. I hated the idea, but I lied because I loved her. I'd been lying since June the 12th, the day I found out about her fling with a 23-year-old with a tattoo of Horace on his hand. At 7 a.m. on a Monday morning, we left our London apartment, and an hour later, the weather turned. Hail, then serious snow. "Did I tell you the cottage is fully serviced?" she said. This meant strangers prodding at my privacy. "That's great," I said. By the time we reached the lakes, the snow caked the road, thick as marzipan. Sane people checked into B&Bs and ditched their road trips. I said we might do the same. "But this is exciting, Marcus. Can't you relax for once in your life?" She'd poked an open wound. Not long before the fling, she told me I was boring. "I love you," she said, "but I always know what you're going to do." So I lied again. "You're right," I said. "This is a thrilling, blindfolded adventure." 30 miles north of Penrith, we stopped at a Texaco. Anna grew up around here and slept on a fold-out in her mother's bedroom and left home when she was 17, not long after one of her 5 brothers was sent to prison. Before we married, I asked why she didn't talk about family, and she said, "When I left home, it was a case of good riddance to bad rubbish." "Can you deal with the petrol?" she said. "I need to top up my mobile and make a few calls." Who the hell was she calling? And why was she taking so long? I didn't know much about Horace, but gossips in the department said he was young, that they'd shared a single room in a hotel, and that he was a northerner like Anna. Once ideas of Horace got in my head, it was damned near impossible to get rid of him, and my stomach grew hot with rage and damp with sadness. My wife was in Texaco and up to no good. At 4 o'clock, she stopped the car at the end of an unnamed road and said, "We're here." This wasn't a cottage, but a grand, well-kept estate. "It's called Hilltop Manor. Isn't it amazing?" I smiled. "Don't you think it looks like a giant version of the house in Hansel and Gretel?" I didn't. It was more like a decommissioned hospital. When we went inside, Anna told me to take off my shoes. "Why?" "Because there's underfloor heating." She kissed me wholly, not the usual peck on the cheek, and I wondered if I was wrong. I brought our bags in from the car and put them on the ottoman. "Have you seen my go bag?" "No." At Texaco, I found her go bag, in which she kept a passport, a carton of cigarettes, spare contact lenses, and enough cash to run for China. She got the idea for the bag after watching Spooks, and why did she need it? Because it made her feel secure and sort of ready for anything. Well, it was gone. At Texaco, I threw it into the out-of-service car wash. "Where the hell is it, Marcus?" I took hold of her hands. "Don't panic. We're going to have a glorious holiday, go bag or no go bag." I know, but it doesn't make sense. I know I packed it and—" "Anna, you're fretting over nothing. You have everything you need right here." "Could you please stop being so sensible and bloody useless?" And that's how the truth came out. Sooner or later, it almost always comes. "What about a nightcap?" I said. "Some cognac?" "Good idea, and I'm sorry I snapped at you." To her cognac, I added clonazepam, which my doctor had prescribed in July. I stopped taking the pills because, as well as the usual side effects, dizziness and memory loss, they cause loss of libido, the very last thing I need. Anna sat on the settee, and I fed the fire with kindling until it was furnace hot, and when, at last, she yawned, I said, Shall I carry you up to bed? Yes, please, my love. I feel like a rag doll. The next morning I woke at 6 and made a cafetiere with monsoon Malabar beans, mixed with just enough crushed clonazepam. Anna came down at 7:30. It's still so dark, she said, and the windowsills are 2 feet thick with snow. It's beautiful, I said. We sat in the conservatory and she moved close to me, loving and compliant. Let's turn off the lamps. There's an eerie glow coming off the snow. And she fell asleep in my lap, and when she woke, she wanted to go and sit by the fire on the long settee. Everything's murky and dreamy, she said. I'm going to watch cartoons all day long if I feel like it. I found a show called Wonky Donkey. Leave it on this, she said. It's got to rhyme. She was lovely with clonazepam inside her, and looked at me the way she did in those early days when she read my conference papers and watched my lectures and called me brilliant. And so I decided I'd give her clonazepam the next morning and watch for signs of swelling in her face or lips. But she woke early and got dressed. She kissed me on the forehead. I'm going to go down to the lake and then into town to do some market shopping. Do you want to come? No, I said. I'll stay here and make a cassoulet. After she left, I couldn't eat, read, or think, and sat by the window as though stranded. I didn't move in the chair until noon, when I saw a man walking downhill towards the manor. As he walked, he waved a stick back and forth, and when he reached the boundary fence, I stood, he looked directly at me, and then turned round and went up the hill. Anna got home just before 6. Darling, I'm so sorry I'm late. I looked at her and said nothing. She didn't bind well to silence, and if the trick worked, she'd soon land knee-deep in social quicksand and confess. Is the cassoulet ruined? I nodded. I'm really sorry, Marcus. I got lost on the way back. Did you make it to the markets? Yes, but I couldn't call when I got lost because I forgot my phone. She was lying. Marcus, don't stare at me. I've had a splitting headache all day. I needed to keep her from sneaking off. When she was in the shower, I hid the car keys in the woodpile and added a double dose of clonazepam to her nightcap. As she slept, I went to the car. Something made me sneeze. Aftershave, perhaps another man's dander, and the sat-nav recorded 4 recent destinations. The Lakeside Hotel, and 3 to 48 Stillneck Close, which was 0.3 miles from the Hilltop Manor, but 8.2 miles from town and the markets. No more proof was needed. I set the alarm on Anna's bedside for 5 a.m., and when she woke in a filthy mood, "What's going on, Marcus? I want us to watch the sunrise, and after that, I have a surprise for you." You're nuts. Maybe I am, but I'm in charge of today's adventures. You won't be disappointed. She rubbed her head and said, You're full of surprises, my darling. How exciting. A good actress, my wife. Good, I said, but first I'll make your favourite breakfast. She kissed me and asked for a glass of water. And could you pass me 2 of those fizzy Solpadeine? Is it your head, dear? Do you need the doctor? No, she said. I'm sure it's nothing. Instead of clonazepam, I added Valium to her coffee, and we spent the morning in bed with books, food, and newspapers. She said she was happy when we first got in the car, but when we arrived at the Lakeside Hotel, she put her fingers on her temples. Marcus, would you mind if we didn't have lunch here? Okay, we can sit by the fire instead. I'd rather go home. I feel woeful. Oh, come on, I said. It's just a headache. While I waited for the receptionist to swap the lunch booking for afternoon tea, Anna put her arms round me and whispered, "Let's book a room instead, Marcus. I want to be completely decadent." I paid for the room with an old credit card, and the hold-up drove Anna mad with anxiety, and that rash of hers crawled round her neck and along the side of her face. "Marcus, I really need a smoke. I'll meet you up in the room, okay?" From the room, I called the front desk for toothpaste. "Last-minute booking, is it? Will a complimentary toiletry set do?" "Yes. His and hers?" "Yes," I said. Husband and wife. If Horace worked in the hotel, he wouldn't be hard to find, and he might be the man I'd just spoken to, but the man who came with the toothbrushes was a middle-aged Scot. I left a note. "Dear A, gone down to the bar. Love, M." My search for Horace got me nowhere, and I went back to the room. Anna was looking out the window toward the car park. Her rash was gone, but I knew how to bring it back. "Let's go down for afternoon tea. Can we have room service instead? What's wrong? You seem jittery. I told you I have a splitting headache and I'm very tired." Another lie. She wasn't tired. Her pupils were dilated, and she might as well have been on the tips of her toes with the desperation to run. I waited for her to sleep and watched her while I drank a shot of Smirnoff, and then at 8, it was time to go. Still neck close. A narrow, empty, dead-end street had no lights, so dark that a slow-moving woman with her dog used a torch to see her way. Number 48 was at the end of a row of squat cottages overlooking a scabby, unfenced field. I parked opposite, and since the blinds weren't fully drawn, I had a decent view into the front room. He wasn't asleep, as I'd hoped, but watching TV in a recliner with his feet crossed at the ankle. Except for the TV, recliner, and a table, there was no other furniture, no books, no pictures, no taste or personality. Typical digs for a workless 23-year-old with no clue about how the world works. I waited an hour, and in that time he didn't move, so I got out and stood behind the neighbour's hedge. I could see his face, but not his hands or his tattoo. But it was him, of course. He even looked like Anna, skin white as new socks, curls at the nape of his neck, and green eyes. They might as well have been brother and sister. Such unabashed narcissism. Back in the car, I made up my mind. I'd wait for him to sleep in his chair or up in his cot. There was no other way to go about it, no easy way. He was 10 years younger and likely 10 years stronger, so that was it. I'd wait as long as it took. For as long as it took, I'd wait.
At the End of an Unnamed Road was written by M.J. Hyland, read by Greg Wise and produced by Jeremy Osborne. It was a Sweet Talk production for BBC Radio 4.